Woohoo!
How do we do? Now we just hang out and wait for if anyone decides to. Where is it going to tell us down there?
I don't know. It might. Cheers.
Cheers. Welcome to date night
with Heidi Scheffler.
This is my husband.
Hi.
We are photographers here in Wichita. We shoot a lot of weddings. I also do boudoir and seniors. He also does portraits.
Yes.
But we love shooting weddings together because we're good at it.
Because we enjoy doing it.
Yes.
And we enjoy being there on your wedding day.
Yes.
We
have a lot of fun partying with our brides and grooms.
Yes, we do.
Not really. We don't do a lot of drinking at your wedding or anything, but we definitely love to hang out and watch you guys have a great time and photograph all of it.
Yes.
It's great.
It's very much true.
It's fabulous.
We're going to give it just a couple more seconds here to see if we have a few more people show up in the chat room. So please join us in the chat room and be ready to chat it up with us.
Should we talk about what we're drinking tonight?
Mm.
It's August 13th. We got married on Friday the 13th in October. So tonight is actually our 10-month wedding anniversary. I didn't say anything to you about that today.
Yeah, you did.
I did?
Yeah.
Oh.
We shared stuff on Facebook about it.
Oh, friendiversary.
The friendiversary,
yes.
But it was our actual wedding anniversary.
Yeah.
So it was fun.
Yeah. Anyway, so we're getting real classy. Let me bring the bottle over here. Boda box. For when
you need lots of wine.
Yes, for a minimal price. And right now we're saving all of our money to go on our epic honeymoon, so Boda box it is. We didn't take a honeymoon after our wedding because we're very busy as wedding photographers. And October is a super busy month.
Yes.
And there's my niece, Milani. Hi, Milani.
Hey, Milani. See you in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, we'll see you in a couple of weeks at Holiday Island. No, but we didn't take a honeymoon because we were pretty also broke after our wedding, because I think most of you who are planning weddings know that weddings are not cheap by any means. Even if you're trying to go the DIY budget route, weddings are still going to be ridiculous. So anyway, we decided on our 1-year anniversary that we were going to do our honeymoon. And we're going to do a 2-week road trip going down through New Mexico, the Grand Canyon, and through Utah. So,
we were calling it the Chad and Heidi Tour.
Yes.
So,
that's what you're calling it.
That's what I'm calling it, the Chad and Heidi Tour. We're going to be touring the United States.
With a tent and 3 chihuahuas.
Yes.
We're the couple that takes their chihuahuas on a honeymoon.
It just sounds ridiculous.
It does. It does. So, anyway.
Well, let's go ahead and have our date night conversation.
Okay. I said where you can find us. What do I like? Oh yeah, like on social media.
Yep, on social media.
You can find us in Wichita, Kansas, like right here. I want to give you our exact address because.
Yes, come steal all of our stuff.
Yes. No, you can find us. Obviously, you know where the Facebook is because, well, not the Facebook. You know where the page is because that's how you're watching this right now. You can also find us on Instagram, Heidi Scheffler Photography. You can find me on Twitter. I'm on the Twitters at PhotoFox79. I also have a boudoir page on Instagram, which is HS Boudoir or Heidi Scheffler Boudoir. And where else can you find us?
You said Twitter, Instagram, the website, which is HeidiSchefflerPhotography.com.
Yes, and I just did a lot of updates to it, so it's kind of brand new and swanky, newer logo, the whole 9 yards. So it looks kind of awesome. I've got all sorts of blog posts on there that you can check out. I've actually got a blog post on there that has tips from being a bride. Being on the other side of the lens, because that was definitely a learning experience for me, and I can definitely relate a lot more to my brides.
A lot more.
So yeah.
We've been in your shoes.
Yes, definitely. Definitely. So we kind of did a little bit of a getting to know us, didn't we?
Yes, we did. Yes. So Heidi is the main photographer, and she's the one that you will be dealing with if you do book us, or any type of emails and contact and whatnot is all done through her. She's also the main photographer and the main rock star of Heidi Scheffler Photography.
I wear many hats.
Yes, tons of different hats. I only just wear the one. It's always gray. I don't know why that is. No, I'm actually just the second photographer, and I assist Heidi a lot throughout the day. And I also am there to help with the bride and the groom and anything that they may need, as well as taking more of a documentary approach with photography. So that's who we are in a nutshell.
That's who we are professionally, but who we are personally, I think that one of the reasons why we wanted to do this live on Facebook is so that we like to get to know our clients before we shoot their wedding, because we want to know you. We want to know what you guys like, what you're into, the story about how you guys met, just to know your personalities, because it definitely is an awesome thing when you're working with a photographer. You want it to be somebody that you can really connect with. You don't want it to be somebody that you feel awkward or uncomfortable with, because if that's the case, then it's going to come through on your photos that day. So when I meet with, clients and everything like that, or I talk to them and I email them, I'm going back and forth, because everybody's email. Nobody really meets in coffee shops anymore. It's all done online. But I always tell them, let's do our engagement session, because that way it gives us a chance to really kind of get to know each other a little bit more.
Yes.
And Chad usually comes with me when we're doing the engagement session, especially when there's a second shooter, because we really want you guys to get to know us both. And we have a lot of fun doing that.
Yes. So, and that way on your wedding day, you know exactly who we are, you know exactly what you're going to get, and it gives all of us a chance to mingle and get to know each other, and everyone can be in this wonderful state of collaboration.
It's great.
It is a beautiful thing. It really is.
Yes. And one thing that's also awesome about this job is that because we're with you on a very emotional day, if for some reason that really builds a friendship. And we've maintained friends with all of our clients. We've gone out with them afterwards to different microbreweries here in town. We've gone to dinner. I mean, we've done all sorts of things. So we keep in touch with all of our clients, and that's what's great, is that you get to meet people that maybe in everyday life you never would have met, but doing what we do for a living, we get to meet all sorts of people.
Oh yeah, totally. And we definitely enjoy the microbrewery get-togethers. If you ever want to do that.
Yeah. Aside from the wine, we definitely do enjoy our fair share of beers. So yeah. I think it might have something to do with my German background. I don't know what your excuse is, but
because I wear gray hats.
It's
the hat.
It's the hat, apparently. Okay, so anyway, I don't know how many of you out there are currently planning a wedding of your own, or you're helping your best friend plan a wedding, or you're thinking about planning a wedding down the road. But one of the things that we wanted to talk about, since we are newlyweds technically still, we wanted to talk about wedding planning tips from a photographer's perspective and a bride and groom perspective, because I think that that's kind of an important thing. There's a lot of tips that we wish we would have known. And I mean, I've photographed, I don't even know how many weddings at this point. I've been photographing weddings since 2006. A while. I've been photographing weddings for a while.
A little bit of time.
A little bit of time. So I know a lot about wedding planning from a photographer's perspective. And then when we got engaged, then the whole thing switched and the tables were turned. And I had to learn what it was like to plan it from a bride perspective, which makes putting a budget. Being a photographer and seeing all these other things, I can give you tips on, where to do this and where to do that. But being a bride, I can give you a little more tips as far as like budgeting goes and different things like that. So anyway, what did I write? We took notes the other night when we were drinking wine.
That's when we do our best work, is when we're drinking.
Yes. Okay. So one of the things that I had mentioned was that, what was it? Hold on. Oh, this is from your perspective, from a groom. You said, you do this one.
Okay. One of those tiny things that you can do being a groom that definitely helps out your soon-to-be bride is to ask for a list of things that you can do to help out. Because you come home and you hear about, all this amazing stuff that I found today on Pinterest, but we still have all these other things that we need to do. And you're going, great, hun, sounds wonderful. Let's do it. But you don't realize that if you just help and pitch in and just make a couple phone calls, or get a head count for however many people are going to be at the rehearsal dinner, things of that sort, book the rehearsal dinner, whatever it is that she needs help with, your soon-to-be bride, ask for a list. If he's not watching now, just give him a list. Doesn't have to be like super big, super long, just something that makes him feel involved and that will help you out in the long run as far as, not being so stressed out and being the only one, feeling like you're the only one doing everything. Yeah. Because it really is about both of you. Yes, it's about the bride, but come on, us gentlemen look great in the tux. We just do. We look great. So it's about both of your day. And any little help that you can give your soon-to-be bride as a groom is definitely appreciated, and you will get brownie points for doing so.
But yeah, it's actually kind of funny, as I remember when I was getting ready, and how you exchange cards with your soon-to-be spouse. And so I'm sitting there, of course, I already have my makeup done and my hair done, and I'm sitting there reading this card that he wrote me and the gift that he was giving me. And I'm reading this, and of course he mentioned something about putting the stress of the day to the side. And I didn't realize how much stress I had acquired, because when I read that, I started bawling like a baby. Because it was just like, I was all of a sudden like just relieved for a minute, and was remembering that, like I tell all of my brides, on your wedding day, remember why you're here. Something is going to go wrong. It could be something as simple as all of the place cards didn't get on the right table, or for us, they forgot to get champagne. That was kind of a big deal because it kind of held our toast off, but they got the champagne, they resolved it.
Yep.
But you have to remember why you're there and what this day is about. And to just laugh at the things that happen and have fun with all of the good times and focus way more on that than anything else.
Yes.
So
fully agree.
Yes.
I have nothing else to add to that.
Well, you contributed. You had a task.
Oh yes, I did have a list of things to do.
Yeah, the one.
And I was there.
Yeah.
I was present.
Cheers.
Cheers.
So
And cheers to you.
another thing I wanted to talk about was dress shopping. We've all watched, well, not all of us, but a lot of us have watched Say Yes to the Dress. And you see these brides coming in with like their sisters, their mom, their cousins, their best friend, the girl that babysat them when they were 5. Like they've got an entourage and they're all sitting there and everyone has their own opinion. And so they're trying on like 5 different dresses. They're crying because someone hates it. It becomes like this big fiasco. I have always recommended to just bring like your maid of honor or your closest friend and your mom or whoever is paying for the dress. They probably need to be there for that if you're not paying for it. But don't bring a big entourage because it's just going to cause stress and it's going to suck the fun out of trying on wedding dresses. And that's like, for me, that was like one of the most fun parts of this whole wedding planning. I think a lot of girls, it's the same thing. It's you're picking out the dress. It's like the dress of your whole entire life. It's amazing. So don't bring too many people. Don't clutter it up. Just bring people that you know are going to be like supportive, excited, and are going to be positive, and not people that are going to be like hate it, hate it, and then and then you're like, well, I'm just not going to wear anything because apparently I look terrible. And wait, there's Cholo back there. Apparently I'm going to look terrible in everything I wear. So anyway.
And it's really all about how you feel for that day. If you put a dress on and you feel beautiful, you feel gorgeous, you feel sexy, you feel like this is it. You have to listen to that inner voice as well and realize that if that's how you feel that this is the dress, then it's the dress. And everyone else that's there that has their little 2 cents in, hopefully they will be supportive and encourage you that if that is the dress, then that is exactly what you should be saying I do in.
Yeah. I mean, if you put on something that is off the wall and everyone's going, but you're looking in the mirror going, I look fabulous, then like Chad said, that's all that matters.
As long as it has a hood and a cape, you're good to go.
That would actually be, there's actually like dresses that have capes now. They're actually kind of awesome.
Do they come with pockets still?
Some dresses do come with pockets. I've had so many brides that get dresses with pockets. Those are amazing. I've never seen more like happier brides either when they have pockets.
When they're able to put their hands in pockets.
Yeah, and they can put their cell phone in there. Not that you need your cell phone on your wedding day. We'll get to that too, because the unplugged thing.
Unplug.
You know what? I'm just going to touch on that right now because I'll probably forget about it down the road. At your wedding, or not your reception, but your ceremony, put a sign out. Have maybe somebody, the priest, the DJ, whatever, make an announcement prior to you coming down the aisle to please unplug. Have people put their cell phones, their iPods, they don't need those. Put all that stuff away because that blocks our shots. 9 times out of 10, there's going to be somebody with an iPod like this. And I'm back here trying to get a picture of your groom, like, seeing you walk down the aisle for the first time. And if someone's doing this, then all I'm going to get is the back of their iPod, and that we could lose that shot. And that happens quite a bit. Everyone feels like all of a sudden they're like a cinematographer and they're making a video of you going down the aisle. And it's like, stop. Let the people that are paid to do this, because you guys paid us money to be there to get these moments. You invited these people to sit there and watch. And
they're there to enjoy it as well.
Yeah, they're there to be there for you.
We're all there to be a part of your day and watch this glorious thing happen, of this amazing story that you guys have put together with your lives, and to watch it unfold. And it is very helpful for those that are documenting it for your day. to have access to do so.
Yes.
Yes.
It's very helpful. So, just a recommendation, try to keep your ceremonies unplugged. Receptions, I don't care. People can be running around, snapping away with their cell phones. They can be doing whatever. That's perfectly fine. And I respect that other people are wanting to take pictures at your wedding too.
Sure.
It's just that I don't want to miss those big key moments that are really important to you. So, oh, and then the other thing, and you can kind of touch on this too, is to hire a good DJ.
Yes.
Or an MC. If you're having a band, make sure you have a band that has done weddings, and that the lead singer can also be a good MC,
yes.
and a DJ that can also be a good MC.
You definitely need someone that's going to make for sure that all those key moments happen at your wedding. The garter toss, the bouquet toss, the first dance, and they will kind of be the person that tells the dog to be quiet when you're doing a live video. They will be the one that kind of like ensures that your night goes in the manner and fashion that it should be.
This wine is making me hot. Look, it's all blotchy. What?
This
Anyway.
is really how our day nights are. We really do talk about business and drink wine, and then like
we do. We brainstorm.
yes,
Or we watch Netflix. I mean,
horror movies are always good to brainstorm too.
Yeah. I mean, obviously we got married on Friday the 13th because we have just always loved horror movies, and that's just kind of always been our thing. So
that's how we do it. Anyway, on to the next thing.
Okay. Oh, the sweetheart table. A lot of people are doing the sweetheart table now, but I've also read articles that people are starting to stray away from the sweetheart table. But we did a sweetheart table at our wedding, which the sweetheart table, in case you don't know what it is, it's where it's just the two of you at your own table, kind of front and center at the reception.
It's a rock star table, basically.
It is. And that way, it's kind of nice because then your wedding party, if they're there with a date, they can sit at a table with their date, so the date's not sitting there going, I don't know anybody, I don't know what to do. And you can't really stick your date with your parents because your parents are like, who are you? Anyway. So that's why we decided to do we didn't have a very big wedding party, and both of the people, aside from our kids, were married, and their spouses were there, and we wanted them to be able to sit with their spouses.
Which I highly recommend to not have your kids married.
What?
I don't know.
Anyway. So the thing that was great about the sweetheart table was that.
It was actually really nice to just have our own moment together and be able to be goo goo gaga in the most retarded way with it just being us. But there is a downside to the sweetheart table. And that one downside is that there's going to be a lot of people that are going to see you two by yourselves, and they think it's a good opportunity while you're stuffing mashed potatoes or whatever it is into your mouth to come up and say hi. So this kind of goes back to having a good DJ, a good MC, a band that is able to control the crowd. It's always good to say, hey, let the bride and the groom eat first, and then you can go say hi. And in fact, it might even be a good idea to, if you're going to do the sweetheart table, which is probably something that we should have done, was to have a moment that after we got done, we were finished eating, that we could go around to each table if you don't have a million tables, where you can go around and actually mingle with your guests that are there and family members and whatnot. That probably would have been a really good idea for us to do. But at the same time, we were not thinking that everyone was going to want to come up and say hi and shake your hand and take pictures and hugs and cry. And you're standing there with mashed potatoes in your mouth crying, and it's not good.
I think that by the time I never actually got through my whole entire meal. Well, I got to a point where I was doing this because I thought if I don't eat, I'm going to starve. And I can't drink then because if I don't have anything on my stomach, I'll have one drink and then I'll be like, woo!
That's what pretty much everything is about. Date night, weddings, eating. Not really eating, but drinking. It's mainly about drinking.
But I was like, my food got really cold because I didn't have a lot of time to eat. Now, granted, I love everyone that came up and said hi to us. I'm glad that we had those moments with those people. It's just that I really wish I could have eaten my food.
Yep.
And then they always talk about the wedding cake, how a lot of people say, well, I didn't even get to taste my wedding cake. We got to taste our wedding cake.
It was when we fed each other a wedding cake.
Yeah.
After that, no. We did not have a single bite or anything of... And
we had a cupcake, but it was at the end when we were leaving.
I don't remember having the cupcake.
That's because you had...
No, because it was an amazing day.
Oh,
and all I was thinking about was my amazing wife as we left.
It's true.
You don't make it sound very convincing.
Oh, man. What is this? Make a Facebook group.
Make a Facebook group. That was actually yes. That's actually one thing that we did for our wedding and for our wedding party and also guests. We made a Facebook page instead of going and doing the website and whatnot.
We did a website.
We did that. But she did that. It wasn't on my list, so I didn't do it. See what I mean? I know what my duties were with the list. But we had a Facebook page, a group page, to where guests and whatnot could be a part of it. They could be a part of the day even before the day happened. They knew where to go and where we were registered at, and we were able to share like pictures.
Sorry.
We were able to share pictures and ideas and our excitement about our day. And
does anybody see our chihuahua in the background?
She's right there.
Cholo Marie.
Oh, little kitty kitties. Little Cholo.
Oh, she's over there. This is backwards.
It is backwards.
I keep looking for her in the living room.
So it's a good idea if you want to have some interaction with your guests and your soon-to-be newly family members. Making a Facebook page, allow it to be kind of interactive, where everyone can share their ideas and their excitement and just the fact that you two are going to have an amazing day and you get an opportunity to kind of share your love with everyone else. And it's a very good thing.
Well, it's a good way for people to be able to ask you questions if they have questions about your wedding or...
Even though they may have directions already.
Yes.
From the website, they do use the group as a way to find directions and whatnot.
Hi, Amanda. She just said she saw Cholo. I also want to say hi to Anne. And then Beth. Beth is on here. Beth was at our wedding.
Yep.
Beth came down with her husband, Derek, and their little baby boy. They came down from St. Louis, so that was a lot of fun. We're glad that they came down. And then my brother, Terry, I see is on there. Hi, Terry.
Hey, Terry.
It's good to see that a lot of the fam is on here. Fam is supporting me. Child, it's fabulous. Is that a puppy?
It is.
Oh, now we've got two puppies here. Maximus.
Maxie. You want to share?
Grab Cholo. Here's Maximus. Come here. He's crazy. He's the baby. He's 4. 4? 4.
Yes, 4. So along with these tips, in which we had a few that we wanted to give to soon-to-be brides as well as grooms, there are some things that come to mind. Being the photographers,
yes,
and how the day goes for us, and so we thought that we'd just kind of jot down a few little things and tidbits that we notice being your photographers on your amazing day. And first of all, being a part of another couple's day is a pretty magical ordeal.
Hi, Meg. Sorry.
Hey, Meg. It's a pretty magical ordeal, and it's not just for your wedding party and whatnot. Like, honestly, being your photographers, it's a pretty emotional and an amazing day for us as well, being able to be a part of your story. Like, this is your day. This is the first chapter, the first like paragraph in your book that you are making together as a life together, and we get to be a part of that. We get to be, a part of that, those first few words, those first few sentences, and we definitely enjoy that. We definitely love being a part of weddings. We're both like very stupidly sentimental and like love weddings and marriage and being all silly in love and crap. And so we love seeing that, for other people and for our brides and grooms that we have the opportunity to spend the day with. So these are just some of our little perspectives of what we see throughout the day, just so that you can understand, thank you, Max, what it's like for us on your magical day as well. So take it away.
Well, one of the things that I always tell brides, and it's actually in a questionnaire that I send out, it's like, do you have any specific moments that are going to be happening that day that aren't like your normal traditional moments? The biggest, for instance, that I can think of off the top of my head is that there was a wedding that I photographed years ago, and at the reception, it just so happened to be, I think, Grandma's 90th birthday as well, and they had like a surprise thing that they were going to do for her with bringing out a cake and singing her happy birthday. Well, they didn't tell me about that, and so I'm like running around chasing all these other people dancing, and there was an outdoor area with beautiful lighting, and I'm photographing the bride and groom out there and all this stuff, and then they all start going in there, and I'm taking pictures of the flower girl outside. And then I come in, and all of a sudden I see they're getting ready to wheel out this cake, and I'm going, whoa, what's going on? I didn't know about this. Now, granted, I got the pictures and everything, but it's nice to be prepared for things like that. We want to know any special things that you guys are going to do. If you're going to see each other before the ceremony, if you're going to have the first look, or if you want to do the first look with your dad, or you want to do anything like that, we need to know those things. Yep,
those are all good things to plan when you are sitting down with your photographers and planning your day out. To mention those things, that way we get an opportunity to kind of make a blueprint of the day ourselves and kind of figure out, where we need to be in order to capture those moments. Now, it's a little easier for us, me being the second shooter. It's a little easier for us to be all places at once because we're both, a part of it and doing what we do. But it definitely is very helpful to have some insight and it's some type of timeline of your day.
Yes. Yeah. We don't necessarily need you to provide us with an exact timeline.
Sure.
Because most weddings have the same kind of timeline. It's usually the same kind of a thing. But if there is specific things, or you're like, I have to be here at this time, or we're going to go to several different locations, then if you want to put that in a timeline and give it to us, it is helpful, and we can kind of prepare for the day as well too. So another thing is that usually after the ceremony, everybody wants the traditional family photos. Everybody does that, because how often do families get together all together like this other than family reunions, which my family's scattered to the winds everywhere. So we don't even have family reunions, because there's too many of us too far away and too many different places. But after the ceremony is when we usually do the family photos, because everybody is right there. We want to catch you before you go to the reception, because when people go to the reception, they're gone, because there's food and
alcohol
and wine, and they're gone. So one thing to do is to have people designated beforehand to know that once your ceremony is over and you've done your walkout with the bubbles or whatever it is that you're going to do, you got to have some people designated to round up the family that you want in these photos and get them back in the church or over to a certain specific area where we've decided that we're going to do the family photos. Because I don't know who all the uncles are. I don't know. I know usually just immediate family, and that's it. But I don't know extended family, grandparents, all those people that you're going to want in the pictures.
Mm-hmm.
So to have people that know all those people that are like, okay, I'm going to go round everybody up. It makes it easier for us. And a lot of times, especially with Catholic weddings,
Yes.
we're kind of limited on time that we have to use the altar space
Mhm.
because there's another one coming up almost right behind you. So we kind of have like an hour to get photos, and that's usually plenty of time. But the thing is that sometimes we can have 30 minutes. And if we're spending 20 minutes rounding up family, we're real limited on the time that we're going to have to do the family photos there. So that's definitely a really big tip I can offer from a photographer's
Yes.
perspective.
And that actually kind of goes into the next tip is if there's specific places that you are wanting to go to do those type of photos, or just the photos with the wedding party.
Yeah, they're kind of
If they're-
important.
If they're off site or somewhere else and you kind of have an idea of some places that you want to go, it'd be a good idea to let your photographers know as well. Because, I mean, a lot of times we'll find out of a spot that we haven't gone to, and we will try to go out there and kind of scope the place out
Mhm.
around the time that we would be doing photos. We kind of know what the lighting's going to be like. We kind of know some decent spots to try out. And, of course, a lot of times it's just kind of freestyle. We just kind of go with it and I don't know, just things just kind of mend the way that they are. But it is nice to be able to go out and at least check out the scenery and pick out spots that for ideas that we may have.
Mhm.
So it's always good to, especially since you're kind of on a time limit when it comes to the
Mhm.
photos afterwards. We usually get about an hour.
Which
after,
is plenty of time.
Which is plenty of time, but if there is some driving time and whatnot,
Mhm.
getting there and being able to scope out the spot in a matter of just
Mhm.
seconds, it's very helpful, at least for your photographers to be able
Yeah.
to go check it out beforehand.
Because that was also the thing for me, like being that I had my business in St. Louis for a while. There was a lot of times I was photographing a lot of brides out in Illinois, but they also wanted pictures by the arch. And so we kind of had a very narrow time frame of where we had to go from here to there. And you're driving like 30 minutes to try to get to the arch or to Forest Park or any of those places that they wanted to go to. And I remember having a bride one time that wanted to hit like 6 different places within like the entire radius of like the metropolitan St. Louis area. And I was like, I don't even think that's going to be a physical possibility. But, we narrowed it down to 3 and we're able to do it. But that's the other thing too, is that be realistic about where you want to go. Like for us, we knew we wanted a lot of time at the places that we went. So we were like, we're just going to, there's a beautiful place out behind Noah's. We were going to do it there.
Mhm.
Or we wanted to go to the skate park downtown, because that's kind of one of the reasons I fell in love with him. He was a skater boy. And then we loved this graffiti wall, these trains, this really urban kind of feel, because that's really our style. And so we knew just this place and then the place we were getting married at. And
Mhm.
so we had like,
I think we had, a 2-hour block?
we had like a 2-hour window.
Yeah, but we had like, of course, the, what do they call it? The meet and greet.
Cocktail hour?
Yeah, cocktail hour.
Mhm.
The drinking hour. And ours was actually 2 drinking hours. So,
Which I highly recommend if you are having your ceremony and there is going to be a window of time between the ceremony and the reception, have a cocktail hour. Give your guests something to do, because I've seen some weddings where they have their ceremony at noon and then the reception's at 6. And they're going, what am I going to do for the next 5 hours?
Right.
And you've got people in from out of town that have no idea where to go or what to do.
They usually just go back to the hotel and nap.
Mhm.
And you don't want that, because you want the energy there the entire time.
Yes. You don't want people napping,
Yes.
sleeping through your reception.
Right. Now, the other thing being photographers, we are there a very long time with you throughout the day. A lot of times we are there like early in the morning whenever the bride is getting ready, also when the groom is getting ready, and the bridesmaids and whatnot. We're there the entire day, and it's always nice. Why, thank you, my dear. To be fed while this is all going on. So it's actually one thing that we kind of forget about ourselves is to drink water and to make for sure that we eat food.
Yeah.
So that was one thing that we did for our photographers and our videographers, was that when we had a lunch tray come in, we made for sure that they took the time to eat, because you want them on their toes as much as you want yourself. And then, of course, having a designated place for your videographer, your photographer, for DJ, for band, whoever it is that's there to help you out, you want them to have a spot as well at a table to where they can sit down and get a little bit of grub and get some energy going for themselves, so that they are in like full force for your day and making for sure that your day rocks as much as you do on your day.
And if you're having a plated dinner, which is definitely a lot more expensive than a buffet, if you're doing something like that, and say you're looking at like spending $75 a head, and you're like, I can't afford to spend that to feed my photographers, there are a lot of venue places that offer what they call vendor meals. They're not as fancy as what you guys are eating, but it's food.
It's a box lunch, and that's all we need is just a box lunch.
That's all we need.
Yep.
And the only other thing is if you're like, well, we can't even really do the vendor meals, then what we would require is a 45-minute window where we would be able to leave and go grab something to eat and come back. Just because if I have gone 8 hours without consuming anything, I'm sure just like anybody else, you get hangry. You get hangry, and not only that, but you're like this.
She gets hangry.
I get tired, I get exhausted, and I'm gonna lose motivation. You know, I mean, I'm gonna obviously still be there taking pictures, but it's gonna be really difficult. So, feed your
vendors.
Not all of them necessarily, but yeah.
And
a lot of people feed the DJ too.
Yes, that is true.
Out there. So.
The last thing that we want to go over, which we kind of already touched on, was your engagement photos. That's one thing that we offer in your package whenever you book us for your wedding as photographers, is an engagement package. And that is a great time to get to know your photographers. And like we've mentioned when we first started this live feed, is that we love being able to hang out. We love being able to plan with you for your special day. But the other thing that we really enjoy is being able to take that time to do the engagement photos. And it's an intimate time, a time for all four of us to be able to hang out, to get to know each other, to laugh, to joke, and to just kind of set a mood for what your day is going to be like. Feed the DJ. Yes, that is very true. Thank you, Amanda, for that. But yes, your engagement session is a great way to get to know your photographers. You're going to be with them at least 8 hours out of your wedding day, and they will be the person that is accompanying you in almost every aspect of your day, along with your wedding party, and even at times without your wedding party. So it's always a great thing for us to do the engagement photos. That's like a wonderful time for everyone just to get to know each other and for everyone to get comfortable. And it gives you an opportunity to get comfortable having a camera pointed at your face, which after a while of your wedding day, you're really not going to care that the camera's in your face. So
No, but your face will probably hurt from smiling so much, and your arms will probably hurt from hugging people so much. You do a lot
which
of
are all
on your
good
wedding
things.
Day. Yeah.
All great things. So that's pretty much what we had.
We've got more.
Oh, we do have more. Okay. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so I had mentioned this earlier on one of like the million posts that I shared before we went live. I talked about our cake topper. And we thought our cake topper was pretty awesome. I think some people were kind of shocked
Shocked?
by it
Yeah.
a little bit, but
And that's okay. Your cake topper can be shocking if you like it to be.
right. And we think that, like, you know, if you want to go with the funky cake topper where it's the one where the bride is dragging the groom across the cake, or whatever you want to, or you can get creative and have the little bobblehead things or anything like that.
This is your day. Your decorations, they don't necessarily have to be all about traditional wedding things. You can add a spice of yourself into it, and that is exactly what we did with ours.
Yeah, we like the non-traditional stuff. So
that is correct.
Yeah.
So without further ado,
okay,
let's show the cake topper.
Our wonderful cake topper. Is this going to be backwards? How do I hold this?
You want to turn it around to where it's backwards to us, so it's more like this.
Okay. So this was our cake topper. I heard the neighbors laugh. Can the neighbors see?
They can see it. They're watching us right now through the window.
Anyway. There was kind of a story behind that.
Yeah. Which is great because that's something that we can always look back at our photos and our videos and laugh about that for years to come. And it's also a story that is told to our girls and will hopefully be passed down throughout our
this will be the hand-me-down
family member. Yeah.
No, but the thing also about our cake is our cake was so elaborate, so gorgeous. It was a naked 3-tiered cake with this grayish kind of frosting and these gold flakes, and then it had red flowers and blueberry looking kind of things. It was just like fresh, real flowers on this cake. It was so unbelievably gorgeous, sitting on this Victorian kind of copper cake stand. And then on top of all of this gorgeous, beautiful cake is our lovely cake topper. So there was a little bit of irony there, and we just thought it was hilarious. So that was a little bit of us at the wedding. So it was funny when we told people we were getting married on Friday the 13th. They expected like the Jason hockey masks and Freddy Krueger and like just all of this stuff, and we were like, no, it's gonna be just dark and romantic, more the feel, because that's who we are.
Dark and romantic.
Yes.
You can tell by the beard.
But that actually kind of goes into the last thing that we were going to talk about is we talked about us a little bit in the beginning, but we kind of didn't really touch on that too much. Plus, it was the beginning of this whole thing, and we were both kind of nervous, and we'd only had one glass of wine. So now we feel a little friendlier, I guess. But anyway, Chad and I, we actually met in high school. He was the first guy I ever really dated. I was 14 because, I mean, and you know how relationships are when you're 14. They're short-lived. And so I think we dated for about 3 months or something, but he kind of developed this celebrity status in my world as just one of those people that you never really forget. You always kind of wonder what they're doing in life and where they've gone and if your paths are ever going to cross again. And they did. They did.
And it was actually through social media.
It was on Facebook.
And we reconnected over a Christmas get together.
Sorry, there's another one of our dogs back there.
Over a Christmas get together, Heidi actually came back to Wichita to kind of meet some old friends and whatnot, and invited me out. And we kind of connected and hit it off again. And long story short, we are now married and happily
10
married.
Months.
10 months.
Woo.
Yes. It's a big ordeal when I just had a buddy of mine at work tell me they were married for 17 years. I was like,
we got 10 months.
Well, it's been 10 months, man. That's kind of the same thing. So anyway, yes, we'll do another live video sometime going kind of into that, and we may end up turning this into a YouTube channel quite possibly. So if that's something that you might be interested in seeing, more tips or just our amazing faces, then let us know. You can always leave comments on the Facebook page, as well as liking it and sharing the page with others. And we'll go into more of that later on in another video, I think.
Are we done?
I think so. Are we not? Is there anything else you wanted to talk about?
What about, well, we don't really need to talk about that, I guess.
Yeah.
Moving the business?
If you want to, go ahead.
Yeah.
Moving
Well,
the
I
business.
have already talked about it. So, like I had mentioned earlier, is I had started my business in St. Louis back in 2010. That's kind of when I went solo. I used to work for another photographer out in St. Louis for a while, and then I realized I don't like this not more wine. I don't like this not having my name attached to the photos. I don't like it. My work was being represented as somebody else's work, and I didn't like that. I was like, and not only that, but I couldn't make the rules. I didn't have the I don't know. It's just a whole different thing when you're working for another photographer. It's not really your work. And so I wanted to branch out and do my own thing, even though back in college, I remember taking a photography business course, which I failed. But don't let that think that I don't know how to run it now. But back then, I just remember taking this class and being like, I don't ever want to own my own business. This just doesn't even sound like any kind of fun. But that was because it was one college course.
And years later,
here I am owning my own photography business, and I absolutely love it. I've come to realize that I just really like being my own boss.
Yes.
It's kind of glorious.
Yes.
But moving the business here to Wichita was obviously something that I had to do when Chad and we did a long distance relationship for a while, and then realized that we didn't like the long distance thing anymore.
I don't recommend it.
7 hours is kind of a long drive when you're doing it back and forth like 4 or 5 times a month.
Yeah.
So, and he has 2 daughters who are now my stepdaughters, and I was not going to have him move to St. Louis and be far away from his kids. This is also my hometown, so it made complete sense for me to come back here to Wichita. So moving the business here was a big step, especially since it had really started to kind of take off in St. Louis, and then it was like starting all over again. But so far, being in here in Wichita has been awesome. I've met so many great people. I've got to photograph so many new venues. I now am shooting weddings out in Eureka Springs all the time too. I don't know if any of you guys have been to Eureka Springs, Arkansas. If
You
not,
need to. It's an amazing place. Amazing.
It's amazing.
We've also been to Colorado.
Mhm.
We still go back to St. Louis from time to time, as well as Illinois,
Mhm.
Kansas City. These are all places that we are close to, that we enjoy traveling.
We do.
Like if we can get in the car, soon to be van, and travel, we will do it. So
Photo bus.
Yes, photo bus. So if you are not in Wichita or Kansas, do not let that
We will
stop
come to you.
Yes, from booking us.
We
We'll
photograph
be glad
weddings
to.
in Chicago, in Nashville, Arizona,
I mentioned the others. Colorado.
Colorado, and then you're Arkansas, obviously.
Yep.
And yeah, we've got one in Kansas City coming up too in October.
And one in
It's like
Eureka.
the 1 month or the 1 weekend before our
1
year
year.
anniversary.
And then we've also got one in Eureka Springs coming up the weekend before.
Yes. So we've got a couple travel weddings coming up too that we're always really excited about the travel weddings too. Those are a lot of fun. So
Totally.
So yeah, but anyway, and I saw Lindsay was on here earlier. Lindsay was actually a former bride of mine. Lindsay and her husband Justin, they got married by an Elvis impersonator, and that was awesome. That was like
Kudos to you, Lindsay.
Yeah, kudos to you. And she actually lives over in Germany now. So Hi, Lindsay. We'll come to Germany and photograph you too.
Yes.
Because we'd be down for that.
Totally be done.
We'll totally go international.
Anyway, that is a little bit about us. We hope that you enjoyed the tips that we had for you soon-to-be brides and groom. And if you have any other questions for us as far as photography goes or being a part of your special day, be sure to hit us up. Links are all on Facebook. And be sure to check out the website, HeidiSchefflerPhotography.com for more photos and more insight into who we are.
And if you have any questions at any time, always feel free to contact us. It's really easy to contact us on the Facebook page. Also, of course, Instagram. It's really easy to contact anybody there too. So, and I'm really responsive. I will email you back as soon as I get your email because I know how important that is to you.
Very important.
So yeah.
So thank you so much for taking a little bit of time out this evening to be with us.
Thanks for joining us on our date night.
On our date night. Cheers.